Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video we are going to be ranking every single fusion in the game on a tier list. How good do I think they are? It's that Monday feeling, guys, where I've gotten better actually recently, I think, at, taking more time off and just headspace away from just, making videos and all of that. It's good to have a balance. It does mean though that come Monday, I always sit down on Monday and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to do today. So I maybe need to improve a bit on that. I was flicking through other content creators' videos. I saw this one from Ash. Really interesting. I was like, what is this tier list drama? Cool. So I started watching this, and it's really interesting that basically he was looking at a Chosen video where Chosen ranked the fusions. Then Ash is ranking the fusions, and he's going to compare them to Chosen. I've paused it here because I want to join in too. I don't want to be careful with the timeline. I don't want any spoilers here. But yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to rank them, and then we're going to see how Ash ranked them. Probably how Chosen ranked them. I can go find Chosen's video here as well, if Ash doesn't show it his video. And we'll see how they all compare. I am curious, because I think it's kind of difficult in a way, right? Let's go into ranking these fusions. I think the tricky thing is, do I rank them from how good they are now for me? Do I rank them for how good they are when they initially came out? Because they've been around for a few years now. How good they are for a newer player, like for example Morrigan. Do I rank her for someone who's been playing for 3 years or 4 years? Is the game been out that long? 3.5 years? Or do I rank her for someone that's 6 months in right now? Difficult question. Anyway, let's go. Let's dive in. First up is Astralon. I think I'm going to offend people straight away. I'm going to put him in the B tier. My default, by the way, is to put everything in B tier, which is they're good. It's a good tier. You're good. And then if you have negative things, I mark you down. If you have positive things, I mark you up. That's just how I like to grade on these tier lists. Start everything in the middle and then mark them up or down. I think Astralon for me stays solid in the middle. He's a really good nuker. He also has AoE stun, so he's got some good utility. He's a champion that is worth building, but you may not necessarily need to build him up. He is a nuker. It's difficult to use both the utility parts of his kit and the damage parts of his kit, especially as you go further in the game. It just doesn't quite work. You kind of have to pick one or the other. You can't build massive damage and massive accuracy. You have to commit to one or the other. But yeah, so I like it. I think he's a good, solid, very solid B tier champion. Arguably could be A tier. I'm going to put him in B for now. Bivald, I'm going to put Bivald in A because I think as a provoke champion for Hydra, I think he opens up a lot. He brings a lot of healing as well. And I think it's difficult to get provoke champions. So I think that he provides a more useful niche than Astralon. He brings a similar, actually better level of crowd control than Astralon does. And he also brings it for Hydra as well, which is difficult. Iron Brago, ooh, that's a tricky one. I guess he should be an A. I feel like this champion's been a bit overhyped. Perhaps that's because of when he first came out. It's a tricky one, isn't it? He's obviously fantastic for clan boss. His passive is particularly good to make your teams tankier. So I got him in progression and I thought he was really good. And I used him a lot, even in early mid-game arena. He's an absolute beast. Yeah, he does fall off late game though. I basically just use Astralon for Faction Wars. I do use Bivald in Hydra. I don't really use Iron Brago anywhere except Faction Wars either. I do rank him a bit higher though, because I think for more players, he's going to be a bit more useful. But it's tricky. If you have an unkillable or a Helicath based clan boss team, Brago's not as good. I think A tier is fair for him. He's certainly not S tier though. I feel like people will be ranking him more S tier. I don't think that's quite right. Brachus, I'm going to put Brachus in C tier. He's definitely not useless. He's not an F tier champion. I think you could potentially build Brachus, but it's unlikely to be a high priority. I've got one, I've used him, but I didn't book him. I did book Astralon, didn't book Brago. He needs so many books. But yeah, Brachus, he actually does pretty good single target damage. He can be really nice for clan boss. I think YST might have done a video at Brachus recently. Haven't watched it, but I saw Brachus in the thumbnail. Must go watch it after this. So I definitely think Brachus is a bit underrated. He can be great in arena as well. I'm going to put him in C tier for now. Maybe he should go in B tier. I did use him in a sneaky go second arena team initially, before Stone Skin was a thing. But there you go. Brogni definitely goes in S tier. Really no question there. massive shields, the block debuffs as well, the passive, growing shields, just everything that he does is so useful, and it's quite unique. There's very few champions like him, so he's very good. He's a good champion in Arena. He's exceptional for so many Doom Tower bosses and Doom Tower waves, exceptional for Demon Lord, very good champion. Killian, the unlucky, probably an F tier champion. I don't have him, but I just don't see anyone ever use him. Like, single target damage is a fairly low priority damage profile, and yeah, he just seems pretty poor. Next up, we've got Drakgul the Gaunt. Again, I'd probably put him in F tier. He just seems outclassed, really, by so many other supports. Yeah, he just doesn't really impress me. You could maybe build him up for Faction War stuff, but I really don't think this is a champion you're going to use for long. I feel like he needs a bit of a buff to his abilities, to be honest. Elagaius I'll put into C tier. Not super useful, but does have some niche uses for Faction Wars and for Doom Tower waves, with the ability to lock out any duplicate champions. He can lock out all the skills on that champion. So as a sort of budget warlord for Faction War and Doom Tower waves where you do have duplicates of the same champion, it could be really nasty, like duplicate Valkyries and stuff like that. I think Elagaius is actually pretty great for that. Foley, I'd also put in B tier. I'm expecting to put probably a good few of these damage dealers in B tier. You know, it's an attack-based nuker for Arena. You don't need that many, so it really depends on where you are. Foley has the advantage of a really cool passive to break free from crowd control and then block revive on the AoE. He doesn't hit super hard. They kind of do a similar level of damage, I think, Foley and Astralon. Maybe Astralon hits a small bit harder. Neither of them are massive nukers, but they're good nukers. Yeah, so I think Foley, he's decent. Not too bad. Gaius, I definitely think is a better nuker than those. I'll put Gaius in the A tier. I think the bombs, very cool passive exploding the bombs. He's definitely a threat. You could arguably put him in S tiers. I'm curious, maybe one of the other two might. Nah, I don't think they will. I think Gaius is more A tier. I think he's great, and the bombs is very unique. I don't think that he's S tier. He's not like a must-have champion, a must-build. You could definitely have accounts where you won't use them, but especially with Stone Skin, it becomes really good. I put him above Brago. I'd actually probably put him at the top of A tier for now. You know what? Let me not even bother reorganizing the tiers. That's too much work. Let's not waste time. Gerptuk. Maybe I put Gerptuk in C. I think he's like a good Hydra champion for block buffs, but that's kind of about it. I don't know. He's kind of difficult. This is a tricky one because he came out way before Hydra. He's really difficult to get now. By the time you get him, you might have better stuff. That's why it's so hard to rate these fusions, isn't it? I think probably about C tier, maybe B tier. We'll come back to it. We can reorganize when we get further on. We have Harvest Jack. Again, I'd say he's kind of like a C tier champion. He's great with bolster set in Arena, but he's definitely not a must build. He's like a niche thing, like, oh, actually this would fit really well in my team comp for Arena. Let me stick him in a bolster set and we'll build a team around that, and it can be pretty good. Helicath, no question, S tier. He actually went over Brogni there. But yeah, Helicath and Brogni, probably the only S tier ones, we'll see. But yeah, he's just insane, right? The block damage, the massive shield, opening up all of Clan Boss for so many players. Iron Twins for so many players, super useful. Yeah, I think these are must-have. Like, even if you're not currently using them, like I don't currently use Helicath, but if they were to remove Helicath and do his fusion again, I would 100% go for it. There's no question. It's just a good champion to have. What he brings is very unique. There is, you know, Roshkar the Towers there as well, but he doesn't have the shield that Helicath has. I just feel like Helicath is so unique, and you can see with Iron Twins, like they can release new content and you'll want to have this champion. So that's why they're S tier. Herndig is really good, actually. A tier, I guess. I think he's a better nuker than both Astralon and Foley. I'm almost tempted to put him in S. I'm going to be honest. I'm almost tempted. So the thing that Herndig brings is Nightmare Campaign farming. That's what stands out to me. He opens up Nightmare Campaign in a big way, and he opens up Dark Fae farming in a big way as well. Those are two exceptionally useful things that are exceptionally difficult to do, right? Farming stage 120 of Dark Fae, that's really hard. Farming Nightmare Campaign in good time, that's really hard. He can do both of them because he has two AoEs that absolutely clap. He has extra turn with a mini reset mechanic on his A1. He's very, very good. Let's put him at the top. I am putting him straight at the top of A tier for now. I'm going to move Gaius up as well. There we go. I'm moving it around a little bit. Kantra, I think probably A tier for Kantra. Again, just because of Hydra. So strong for that. Lots of nice debuffs. The Provoke, I think she's going to be great for Doom Tower waves as well. I think Kantra for me gets a definite A. B tier for the Nuker. B tier, the Nuke tier goes in B, and it's Karato. I love his design. He's obviously really good with Yumiko. Without Yumiko, he's not great. Definitely the weakest of these three without Yumiko. Maybe you could put him in C tier. I'm going to leave him in B for now. Definitely A for Krila. Ally attack, really strong. Yeah, very, very good champ. Lanatharil, I'll put him in C tier. He's not completely useless. Like, this is a champ that you probably would put up to 60, and you might use for a bit, right? The ally attack, the shield. You might even book him, depending on where you are in your account. He's just not exciting. Who knows? Maybe they'll introduce a new Hydra head that will make him relevant. Who knows? But as of right now, not super relevant. But I don't think he's like these champions I'm reading, you might just stick him in the vault. You might just stick him in the vault as well. But, I think that comes at a slightly later point in the game. You put them in the vault pretty early. We've got Molly. I put Molly definitely in A tier. Great arena champion. Great Hydra champion as well. She can mischief tank and bring a good provoke. And brings revives too. So I think she's a great champ. Very solid. Definitely A. Uko is very good. Very good. Definitely up in this sort of realm. Yeah, we're gonna have a really big A tier. We're gonna reorder here. I think Uko is really strong though. Definitely disappointed with some bugs and limitations with placing the debuffs on Hydra, but I've been really liking Uko in Arena. Uko is great for Arena, obviously great for Faction Wars, going to be helpful as well for Doom Tower, and a really solid, really, really good champion for Hydra. You know what, I'm going to put Uko up in S. I think Uko is an S. I do rate Uko probably lower than these overall, but still great, really great champ. Mother Cybele, I think A tier for just Hydra, great champ for Hydra, really solid. We've got Nari the Lucky or Unlucky. Definitely, I think, kind of a niche champion. Yeah, definitely a niche champion. Haven't really seen too many teams built around Nari the Lucky. I haven't needed to myself, you see. I'd be interested. I think there's some potential for this champion to be better than these. Like, I put him up higher, but I haven't really seen it. Operdin. I think Operdin is like, B tier, just a good healer, pumps out lots of healing. That's about it. Lots and lots of healing. He's definitely overly maligned when he first came out, but I think for a lot of players, solid champion, good solid champion, lots of healing, bit of cleansing. He's not terrible, not amazing, not terrible. I'll put him in B, I guess. I'm a bit confused. The B and C tier have quite a lot of overlap. F tier for Pixneal. Too many legendary books to make her really work. It's unfortunate. If they reduced her books by half, she'd probably be like a good C or maybe even B tier champion. Well, more C. Razin. I put Razin in a B tier. I think, early even mid game, he's a great clan boss damage dealer. He hard carries Lizardman faction crypt for you as well, which is a bit of a pain of a crypt. Maybe a bit more doable now, but it's quite annoying. They don't have a ton of epics. Venomage really improved that crypt, but I think Razin is a good solid champ. He's a good arena nuker as well, defense based. Again, that's our early mid game. Late game really falls off, but I think he's pretty usable. For most players, he's probably going to be a champ you will book and probably use for a good bit. F tier for this guy. What's his name? Is it Rorik? I can't even remember his name. Single target damage, a bit of crowd control. I've just really been unimpressed by him. I'm really unimpressed. I just don't feel... I've not seen anything convince me to use him. I've heard about some counterattack Hydra stuff, but I just don't see it. Haven't used it. Pretty poor. Rotos, I actually forget Rotos was a fusion. I guess he should go up in S tier, just like insane damage healer for Arena. He can solo Scarab King. He's beast for a few of the Doom Tower bosses. Massive single target damage dealer. Arena monster. He should probably go up in S tier. Yeah, we'll put him in S tier for now. Rule. B tier for the Nukers. B tier for Nukers. I think Rule is good, solid. He hits extremely hard. He's got one of the hardest hitting AoEs in the game. It's like he might be great for your team. He might be an absolute MVP, one of the champs you really want to book up quick and use, or he might be a champ that you don't end up building or ever using. It really depends. But I'll put him in B tier. I think that's fair. He does hit really hard with the hex stuff. It's cool. Can be great for dungeons and arena and stuff, but you need specific teams. Shamrock for me goes in the A tier. I think one of the most underrated champions in the game. Amazing Hydra champion. He's so good for Hydra. He has the perfect arrangement of his moves with increased speed and increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown, then AoE decreased speed on a 4-turn cooldown, which works really well because you should be outspeeding the Hydra heads. So you can keep both up on your team and on the enemy Hydra heads very well, and then stealing buffs on his A1. Great champion. Sigmund, similarly, extremely underrated. He should definitely be A tier. Amazing Hydra champion with AoE decrease attack and provoke, big shield with strengthen, some buff removal again. Great champion for Hydra. I've seen him run in Nightmare teams. Same thing with Shamrock. Nightmare viable. Really great Hydra champ. Sir Nicholas. This is a weird one. Like when Sir Nicholas first came out, he was obviously S tier when he came out. But that was like 3 years ago, right? I forgot he was a fusion as well. I don't know. Nowadays, he could. Okay, he should be an A. He should be an A tier champion, right? He probably should be A tier because he does bring the unkillable and healing and good shielding. Again, if we imagine this stuff from like a player that's 6 months in, he's going to be an absolute game changer, right? Imagine you didn't have any of these and you pull Sir Nicholas. That's going to be huge for you, no question. Decent damage dealer, great for Doom Tower waves. Great. Actually, now that he's been nerfed for Iron Twins, right? The unkillable doesn't work. He's actually not as good there. I mean, he's still okay. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to put him in B tier. I guess he should be probably at the top of B tier, right? I'm going to call him just a B tier champion. Like, yeah, he can open up some clan boss teams. Maybe that's too harsh. I don't know. Am I being too harsh on that? We'll see. Let's compare it to the other guys at the end. Skullard Vargal, again, A tier for me. Amazing Mischief tank for Hydra. So strong for that. We got Tatura. There's too many in the A tier. We're going to move stuff. Tatura, again, A tier champ. Increased defense, block debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown. It's fantastic. Decrease accuracy A1, very useful, especially for things like Bommel. He's got a great AoE nuke. He hits really hard. So I think, clan boss, Doom Tower bosses, he's just very, very useful. He can be great for Hydra as well if you've got the right team. Tormund, it's hard to imagine he was a fusion as well. I put Tormund up in the A tier. A great arena champion, falls off late game, but still useful. Still useful. Maybe he should even go in the... You know what? Tormund should maybe go in the S tier. He's exceptional for Doom Tower waves as well, for locking them down with freezes, controlling them. You can build them to hit really hard too. Yeah, Tormund probably should be S tier. Vergamkar, I think, is an F tier. Not really going to use him. Yeah, just a very underwhelming champion, I think, in general. I think Verself is really underrated too. I think Verself is a great protector for your team. It's a little bit awkward to trigger the second hit on his A2, but it hits exceptionally hard. I think he is still the hardest hitting HP-based champ in the game, if that is built up, though he also is an ally protector, so there's some downside there. His provoking mechanics are quite weak. They don't really do anything that's super useful, but he'd be good in arena. I think he's definitely a B-tier champ. I'd actually put him up somewhere like this. I think he's very good. He can open up, he can be great for clan boss, early game, really good. Bringing leech and the ally protection, increased defense. He's a very solid champion. Vlad, again, I put in a B tier. B tier for nukers and plus others now. Vlad, B tier, void nuker. He does good damage. He's got some okay utility. The main thing is that he's void, so he doesn't have any sort of weak hits. But he's not doing anything exceptional. It's like you could easily pull Vlad and go like, I've got another nuker. I don't really need to build Vlad much. Or I'll use him, but not book him. That's sort of the situation for me. Vlad, I built him and he's great, but I don't have him booked and I don't use him for too much. Toomdrang, I think he's an A tier champ. AoE HP burn is exceptionally useful, though it's easier to get nowadays, to be fair, but he's really tanky. He doesn't need accuracy. He's got a great team heal thing as well. I think Toomdrang is a great champion who's going to help you in lots of dungeons, Doom Tower and Hydra. So I think he's very good. Putting him at the bottom of A tier is a bit unfair, but I'm too lazy to move stuff. I'm going to give S tier to Yoshi, which is going to shock some people. I love Yoshi though. Increase accuracy, increase attack with an AoE True Fear is an amazing move on a short cooldown. He is great for a lot of some Doom Tower bosses like the Frost Spider, get you past that with the accuracy and his burn. He's great for Doom Tower waves, fearing them, giving your team enough accuracy. He's got a speed aura as well, which is useful. He features in my free-to-play Doom Tower video, which I probably should update now, seeing as he was a fusion from ages ago, and newer players won't have him. But he's a great champ, and he's really strong now in arena as well with the Stone Skin meta. He's a very good champ in Stone Skin. Powering up your bomb champions like Gaius, he's a perfect combo for that. increase accuracy, increase attack. So the stone skin meta is really done in favors. I mean, arguably, maybe he should be A tier. I'm going to be cheeky and put him in S. Moranix, I give her B tier nuker. You know, she's a nuker, force affinity, similar to the others. She doesn't hit quite as hard as the others. Well, similar sort of levels to the others. She brings a decreased defense in the hex, which is useful. I think she's a B tier nuker, right? It's very similar to these other nukers. And then we've got Morrigan. I think I'd give Morrigan an A tier. I think the AoE True Fear is good. The speed boosting is good as well. And again, this is the tricky thing where it's like, okay, for someone that's been playing for 3 years, she's probably not going to be very useful. But same thing for many of these champions. But for a newer player, I think she's like really strong, right? I think that she's been, again, a bit maligned, a bit underrated. She doesn't have the right icon either. That feels bad, man. But there we go. Okay, let me take a quick look. Am I happy with these rankings? Okay, I want to make A tier smaller. Let's put Herndig up into S tier. I put Gaius in... No, I think Gaius stays A. Yeah, okay. And I could rearrange these tiers, but I'm not really bothered. I think that this seems pretty fair to me. Yeah, this seems pretty fair. Maybe the S tier is quite full. We should probably have like an S plus tier for these two guys. I think are really exceptional. Maybe Uko. But I'm fine with that. Let's see. What did the others do? What did the others do? So let me skip to the end here. So we've got... There we go. That's really similar. Okay, that's exceptionally similar. Okay. Wait, hang on. So this is... They're not the same. I think that's Chosen. I think that's Ashe. Okay, let me see. So here we go. So Ashe, we've got Helikath. He did put Gaius in S tier. Wow, he put a Molly in S tier. That really surprised me. And wow, I'm shocked by that too. Uko's up there. That's fair. So fairly overlapped. He actually, again, I was expecting this Astralon ranked much higher. Harvest Jack ranked very high as well. Fairly similar stuff. Nari the Lucky ranked really high. That surprises me. Again, I can understand the arguments for Sir Nicholas. Other stuff's pretty similar. Fairly similar here. He's ranked these lower. Again, I think people really underestimate Yoshi. Maybe I'm crazy for putting him S tier, but I think he should be A tier for sure. I think Morrigan and Dreng are underrated too. I think it's a pretty fair tier list. So I have some small disagreements. I can understand it. And then this is Chosen. Okay. So his S tier is more similar to mine. This is mine. I'm running some Ice Golem in Raid, by the way. I'm flicking to the wrong thing. He's put Yoshi in B as well. Man, people don't like Yoshi. I'm on the Yoshi train, the Yoshi hype, but very similar apart from that. He's got Torment in A. That again, I think that's fair. It's hard to judge because he's such an old fusion. The meta has changed. I think he's so useful. Very similar apart from that. He has Razin ranked very high. He has Morrigan up there as well. Foley actually ranked very high too, I would say. And in my opinion, I do think Sigmund being a bit undervalued here, and Yoshi. I think they're both very good. I think Bivald in C tier. I think that's and Dreng as well. Okay. So I definitely disagree with these ones. I really think that Shamrock is super underrated. I think Dreng. I can understand people ranking Dreng a bit lower because he's just, he's a tanky AoE HP burner. It's not like a must-have. But I think that he is higher for most people. And I do think Bivald is higher for most people as well for his Hydra utility. But there you go. 3 quite different tier lists, actually. Some big differences in opinion. Would I change anything after seeing theirs? I'll put Yoshi down to A after seeing theirs. Do I want to change anything else? Not really. I'm really surprised by the Nari going up so high. That is interesting. Harvest Jack, I'm pretty happy with him being C. Yeah, I don't think I super want to change anything else. I'm pretty happy with my ranking, actually. I think it's fine. Now the comments come in, and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. That ranking is really stupid. But there we go. My ranking for... zoom in a little bit. My ranking for all of the tier list champions, all the fusion champions. Let me know, or legendaries. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Disagree? Which of the tier lists you like best? I'm hoping there's a bias towards my one, seeing as this is my video, but who knows? I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.